Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a first impressions slash tutorial slash thoughts on the colored Raine Vivid Pigments and Shadows palette right here. You guys saw last week I did a swatch party. I was really into so many of these shades, and of course I said I was going to do a first impressions, and here it is. This is the finished look that I created. I have some thoughts about this palette. I did try and experiment with as many shades as possible, so if you want to skip ahead of the tutorial and go directly to my final thoughts, I will put the timestamp down below in the description box. However, if you want to watch my tutorial and see what I think of this palette, how it works with like a variety of brushes, with a variety of techniques, and basically how I created this eye look right here, then of course keep on watching. Okay, we're going to be doing a first impressions with this palette right here, which is why today will be just the eyes and nothing else. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm actually testing out a lip gloss. Spoiler alert, I don't really like it too much, so there will be more on that in another video. I think I want to try out this color first, this color called Neo Blue right here. By the way, I've swatched this entire palette already in a swatch party. I'll put the video up in the cards if you're interested, but if you're curious about the swatches, I've already done them and they're going to be up there. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and use this color called Neo Blue. I'm going to take it on a little bit of like a fluffier brush. I will say that this is like a pressed pigment palette, so like it does, like whenever you like go in with your brush, even just like a little bit, you do get like a lot of kickback. I personally do not mind kickback. I mean, it doesn't really matter either which way for me, but if you don't like kickback, then you know, this is probably not going to be a palette for you, but I personally don't really care. So long as the eyeshadows look good on the eyes, I'm okay with that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and just take the brush, and I'm going to just, this is like a fluffier brush. I'm going to just apply the color into the outer portion of my eyelid. So far it's working really well. This is not a packing brush, so it doesn't give a lot of pigmentation on the first layer, so that's why you get a little bit more of like a light looking look. It's blending out really nicely, which is good. It's not giving me like any patchiness that I can see right now, and it's not like giving me any kind of problems. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch brushes. I want to go in with like a little bit of a packing brush, and I'm just gonna take the same color and I just really want to pack it right on top, because I really want this to be a vibrant blue. I want this to be really intense. I'm gonna go ahead and work with a fluffy brush now, but I'm just gonna dip it in to the color again, just a little bit, and I'm going to work this into my crease area. I'm pretty much applying this like in a C shape into my crease, but also close to my lash line, but still sticking to the outer portion of my eye. So far this is what it's looking like. I personally am really into like how it's just blown out and how easy it is to blend this out. So I kind of like just wanted to choose this brush to kind of challenge myself and the palette, because this brush, I don't know if I've mentioned this or not, but it's not like my first choice whenever it comes to like a good blending brush. It's very inexpensive, which is why I have it, and it works, but it's not my first choice. But considering that like I am usually not a huge fan of this brush, even though I think it's good for the price, but you know what I mean, this works really well, and like it's creating like this really beautiful fanned out effect, and I think that this looks quite nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other eye, and then I'll be right back. Now that I'm done with that, I'm going to take another brush, and I want to dip in to, let me see, I kind of want to go ahead and use something that's a bit unconventional for this next step. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take a fluffy brush and dip into this color called Splash. I'm going to take, I'm just going to dab this, since like, yeah, you do get a lot of kickback, which I don't mind. Again, I don't mind it at all. I'm just going to coat the brush. I'm going to just lightly apply this color into the inner crease of my eye and actually like into the inner portion of my eye as well. I watched Betty Jean and she talked about like mixing like orange shades with blue, so this is what I'm thinking about. Like I don't want to screw this up, but yeah, I mean, you guys know that a lot of times I just make life harder for myself by mixing certain colors together, which technically like you shouldn't mix unless you want to be like super careful with like blending and all that, which is what I'm trying to do right now. Because see what happens if you mix like certain colors together, like say orange and blue, then you get a neutral, which of course you guys know that I don't really want in my looks usually. So I'm trying to be very careful, and I'm basically just like dabbing the color on. But like, let me just use my finger to correct that. Yeah, a lot of times I just use my finger to like fix certain mistakes. I personally am loving how this color went on. It is absolutely beautiful. Okay, well then I just smudged the color down into the side of my nose, but let me just fix that. I'm not going to be wearing foundation today, so I can't really cover that up. What I'm doing to make sure the colors don't get too muddy is basically just tapping the color into the blue area. And I can be a little bit more liberal in the area where I don't have any other color except the orange. So I'm going to clean the brush off on the palm of my hand, just enough so I can grab another shade. And the shade that I want to use right now is called Lemon Drop. It's this one right here. I'm just going to grab a little bit of that, and I'm going to use this to just like diffuse the edges of that orange shade, just for like an added pizzazz. An added bonus, if you will. I think I'm also going to take some on my finger, and I just want to apply this into my inner corner just to see how it looks. It's reminding me of like this watercolor effect, like if you've ever had watercolors and you just mix in colors, especially to create like this beautiful sunset, for instance, and then the colors just like blend in together in this beautiful way and they look so interesting. I feel like that's what I'm creating right here. That is looking really interesting right there. A little bit unconventional, but you guys know that I kind of like that. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of glitter glue and put it in the center of both eyelids, just in that white area. And then I'm just going to tap it in. I like to use glitter glues a lot for like different shadows to really intensify them, especially when working in the center of the lid, and particularly when layering colors, because I find that using glitter glue to assist in that can really help out a lot, especially if you are basically like putting a color on top of some other colors and you don't want it to look muddy. Well, use glitter glue and it will like really fix that issue. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to pick up this color called Cute. This might look terrible. This might not. I'm just open for experimentation at this point. And I'm going to go ahead and just tap this on top of that glitter glue. I like to use my ring finger to blend out the color and then my middle finger to apply it. I don't really have like anything like this in my collection at this point, so I was really excited about trying it out. I'm then going to take a little bit of like the blue color and I'm just going to lightly redefine the outer edge of my eye. Whenever I'm using like a new like set of colorful eyeshadows, especially like this one, I'm always like, I want to use every single shade on my eyes. And that is not always the best decision to be making whenever you have a new palette, a new formula that you're trying out, whenever you have a whole bunch of colors. But you guys know that I get excited about makeup and nothing can stop me when I basically make a decision about something or I want to do something. Nothing can slow me down. But I will say that like these shades are working together beautifully. I really love how this is looking. I'm going to go ahead and experiment with a little bit of a green under eye. I'm going to be taking this color called Squad. I really liked this color when I was like swatching it and trying it out. Then I'm going to apply this particularly specifically into the outer corner of my lower lash line. Then I'm going to extend it out and sort of like mesh it into that blue. Moving forward, I'm gonna dip into this color called Level Up using the same brush because, you know, it's a green. And then I'm just going to apply this into the inner portion of my lower lash line. Then I'm gonna take that yellow and just reapply this into my inner corner. I'm also just dragging it down into that green to create like a sort of gradient effect. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pick up Neo Blue, and I think I wanna mix it with a little bit of Yacht Life. And I'm going to use this to deepen the outer corner or the outer crease of my eye. Guys, to be frank, I think that this is making me look a lot better at makeup than I actually am. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face. I'm going to finish things up a little bit. I'm gonna add some lashes and then I'll be right back. So that is the end of this look right here. This is the finished effect. I absolutely love how it turned out. It's just so rainbow. It's so colorful, and I absolutely love that. So let's talk about like the final thoughts surrounding the Colored Raine Vivid Pigments and Shadows palette. Just for reference, I used this color first in my outer corner and crease. Then I went in and I used Splash in my inner crease. I used Lemon Drop in my inner corner, and I also just fluffed it into the inner crease as well. I also used Level Up in my lower lash line. Then I used Squad also in my lower lash line. And then for the center of my lid, I used Cute. I also mixed Yacht Life and Neo Blue, and I used that to deepen my outer corner. I think the look is a look that I actually really do like. I messed up my lash application and my glue is a little bit smudged, but we're not going to be talking about that. But yeah, I definitely think that this look turned out quite well. These are all mattes, and the only color that I would say was a pearlized finish is Yacht Life. And Yacht Life I used in my outer corner. I didn't really use it that much, so I can't really speak on it too much because I haven't really experienced it that much. But I really do think that all the colors worked together brilliantly. I have seen a lot of pigmentation with this palette in my swatch party, and that definitely was the case with the palette when I tried it out. It was very pigmented, but you guys saw that I had a lot of kickback in the pan. I personally do not care about that. That does not matter to me. It also blended out really well. I feel like all the colors consistently blended out superbly. I was really impressed. You guys saw in my swatch party that I did have some issue with Level Up swatching a little bit weird. And I said in that video that I wanted to specifically try it out on my eyes and see what it would look like. And I tried it out in this area, and I pretty much had a very good experience with it. I think that it worked really well. I would like to use it on my top lid as well in some future videos possibly, but from what I can tell, it's a really, really beautiful color to work with. And it's just another one of those cases where the swatch doesn't necessarily represent exactly how the color will perform on the eyes, which of course is very common. You guys saw that I used a variety of techniques with applying these shadows. So I first used a fluffy brush to apply the blue into like the outer part of my eye. And keep in mind, I did not set my eyeshadow, and I did notice that there was absolutely no skipping, that there really wasn't any problems with patchiness that I could see, and it was very, very pigmented and easy to work with. Then I also used a more stiff brush, and I basically packed on a few of the shades, and that again was super easy to do. But also keep in mind that whenever you have a very colorful shadow and you want it to look absolutely beautiful, packing it onto the lid is a really easy technique to do, and it's pretty easy for the shadow to look beautiful. So packing of course worked, but I was really interested to know how the fluffier brush would hold up with the shadows, and I was really impressed by how easy it was to really create a beautiful opaque saturated wash of color with a fluffier brush. You guys also saw that I used the glitter glue. Now a lot of times I have been experimenting with glitter glue on a variety of different shades and a variety of different finishes. So I find that a lot of times some matte formulas can pull a little bit dry and a little bit flaky when you put them on top of glitter glue, and that is of course just how some shadows are formulated. However, with the purple shade, this color, when I put it on top of the glitter glue, I did not experience that whatsoever, and you can see that the shade turned out very pigmented, it's very opaque, and it works really well well with the glitter glue. So if you want to use this technique on yourself with this palette, I'm pretty sure that it can work out quite well. I also applied a shade or two with my fingers, and that worked really well as well. So basically, yeah, I'm really happy with this palette. It hasn't given me any problems as of yet. I would say that this is a stellar first impressions of this palette. I'm really happy with it. I was not expecting this look to turn out as well as it did. It looks very soft, very diffused, very blown out, which is interesting considering how many different colors I was pairing together, and a lot of the problems that could have arisen from me for instance, packing a orange color with a blue color. It looks really good, and I'm really impressed with how it turned out. So those are my first impression thoughts on this palette. Of course, I will be using this palette again and again. I want to see how each and every single color performs in a variety of different circumstances, and I actually do have a few videos planned already with this palette, so keep an eye out for that. But as a first impression thought, I think that this is a pretty good palette so far. I'm really excited about it, and I cannot wait to try it out again. So that is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you're interested in finding out the different products that I used on my eyes, and again, I didn't use foundation, but I applied pretty much everything else. So if you're interested in finding out what these products are, check the description box down below, and all the information will be listed down there. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys.